Hello and welcome back. This is a Two Idiots build episode set on Pertam to solve a problem that we hit when we were last recording, when our drone failed because it would not get height. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a thruster test here, and then I'm actually going to look at designing a drone that's suitable for higher G, low atmosphere areas, because Pertam is 1.2 Gs and has very low oxygen, very low atmosphere. So here we have a drone that I've built. It's very raw basics. Basically is a antenna, thruster in each direction, battery, remote control, camera, and cargo container. We're going to fill the cargo container as full as we can, add more if we need to, and see what sort of mass this thing can hold. At the moment we are looking at a grid mass of 9,421 kilograms. So we're just going to keep loading this thing up and seeing how long it takes this thing to start to drop. Right, so we're going to spawn, obviously not asteroids or planets, but items. We're going to spawn iron straight into these containers. So we need iron ingot, and each one is 1 kilogram. So we're at about 9,000 right now, so we're going to try and see how much we can fit into the cargo container first. So we're going to try adding, say, 5,000 and just see what ends up in the container. We've done that. Let's see how many we got. 5k. I only used a fraction of what we've got in there, so we could probably fit another 5 times that much in here. Let's just keep spawning stuff in. Let's have a look. How full are we on the cargo? Right, that's as full as it'll get. It's 26.6k. So right now we are at 34,000. Okay. Thrusters are working a bit harder now. So it looks like it's trying its best to stay up. So we are going to add another cargo container. We're going to check the mass again because we've just added some more to this. 36.2. Right, so let's keep adding mass. We're at 36.2. Add another 5,000. And that was too much for it. Right, back where we were. So medium cargo has nothing. This will still have its 26k in there. So we're coming at a mass of 36.0. We know that another 5,000 is not going to help, so let's start looking at transferring mass over a little bit at a time here. So let's split this up into 1,000s. I'm doing this by right click and dragging. Okay, 1,000. You're fine, and we are currently at 36,000. Okay, put another 1,000 in. Too much. Okay, so let's just get this a little bit of altitude again. Barely has enough for us to get up. Okay, so while it was able to hover, it's not actually able to get off the ground with that much. Well, we're damaging the ground here. Never mind. Okay, are we actually hovering? Nearly. Okay, we do have, no, we don't have equilibrium. Okay. I think we hit our limit on the first cargo container here, but we were already hovering, so I would say that's the limit. On one large thruster, including the thruster itself, grid mass can be a maximum of 35.7k kilograms. 35.7 tons. The maximum this large thruster itself can hold. Now that's plenty for a drone. But if you're looking at cargo and you're wanting sideways maneuverability and so on, you're going to need to start thinking about thrust in each direction. See, this drone will not survive a tilt or a turn or an upside down or too much of a nose up. So for example, if we connect to this control, if I get us a little bit of altitude, it can't handle that. So too much of a tilt that way, it cannot handle. Too much of a tilt that way, nope. Or that way, nope. So we're pretty much a level flyer here. Because obviously we're going to need similar kinds of thrust in all directions. That's a large thruster in every single direction there. That's a tough ask. Now, I think the question should now be, how much can we actually put on this thing and still be maneuverable? So, let's tidy all this up. I'm going to take about 10k out. 16k. And we're going to do a maneuverability test here. So, what sort of angle can we tilt to before it starts to drift? It's a bit better than before. Okay. Not so bad. Alright, let's increase the antenna's range. Go on actual control here. Just do an altitude test. Okay, we're 140 meters from the ground and we're already losing altitude here. We're probably going to tank it. That's a significant amount of time to actually correct from over altitude, so as it stands, this can't go very high. So we're 22 meters off the ground here, and I think that, let's see where the maximum hover altitude is. Now we're at a grid mass at the moment of 25,700. Okay, I think we're at our limit there because thrusting is giving us very diminishing returns. So we're 74 meters above my location. So let's just bring this back down a little bit. Find me again. Put myself kind of close by. Right. The main thing now is I need to figure out what our current altitude is. Easiest way for us to do this would be to pop a programmable block on here. So and in that programmable block we're going to put our automatic LCD script on here. Okay, we're going to call this LCD, and then in the custom data we can put altitude C. Okay, So we're currently at an altitude of 79 meters right now. And we were able to get to around 70 meters before it started topping out. So that's 140 meters above sea level. I believe our other location was around that at the base level, possibly 200 meters above sea level. So at the current mass of, oh, what's our grid mass at the moment? We're carrying 16k of cargo on here, so 16k of extra weight above the minimum amount of thrusters on here. So our new drone design is going to have to be incredibly lightweight. We're not really going to have room for much armor on here, not if we're carrying cargo. Ammo wise we should be okay, but we need to think of the weight of guns and such. So I think what we need to do is make sure that we stay under a weight, under a mass of, yeah, under a mass of maybe 10,000 per large thruster holding it up. So anyway, we're going to start working on our design. What I'm going to aim to do here, we have it connected that way round. This then necessitates a cargo container. Let me actually put the cargo container on the other way around, because otherwise we're going to have some problems with where we can place our thrusters. Okay, and that's as far as that needs to go for cargo and for ammunition cargo, as far as that's concerned. So from here we need to start placing our large thrusters. Now we know one large thruster will definitely keep a moderate sized craft off the ground. So I'm going to place one on there. Can I get that one lower? Yeah. That's better. Right. So now we need to start thinking about our utilitarian thrust here. So sideways and so on. So we can have one left, one right, one left, one right. That space. So that's that thrust. A fair bit of space here. We can't overlap here, so we need to go. Do we have more down? This is an interesting proposition. Here we could add more down thrust. We also need forward and back thrust. Now that block's going to go, so I don't need to worry about that one in there. I think here we need to start thinking about, yeah, forward thrust. And we'll have one for the other way, for braking. Oh no, we can't put that there. We could just use that for forward thrust. Okay. We make it faster. Possibly. Yeah. Put another one of those on there. Just give it some shape. Okay. Oops. Okay, I can't die in this mode. So that's down thrust, left and right thrust, forward thrust, lots of it. We're going to have reverse thrust. How long do we make this thing? Just try and keep it as compact as possible, really. Yeah, I'm going to place the forward thrust there. That's That's reversing thrust. We also need at least one token up thrust in here, so we've got to be careful because we're going to be routing piping across here, so guns. So wherever I place the up thrust, it's going to have to stay out of the way of that, or we're risking stuff dying. Thinking if I get rid of these, place that in there, place these here. So reconsider how that connects on here. Put one below the top, and the arrow in the middle. This is definitely an exercise in ramming in as much thrust as you can into such a small space. We also need batteries, so we're definitely going to have to place a battery or two on here somewhere. Let's see where we can fit those in. Now, small batteries I don't think are going to cut it. I just don't think they're going to give us enough power to do this. One of those in there. Yeah. Nothing's pointing at each other. There's a block there that's going to get killed, which is going to cause some trouble in a minute. So I'm going to just mitigate that problem right now. Right. Okay. Now we have all of that. We really need to start thinking about some sort of conveyors. Any small conveyors for this? Okay. Don't expect this sort of system to last particularly very long in the air. I mean, that would be kind of ridiculous. But it needs to be able to do at least something while it's out. No. Not like that. Yeah. Like that. Now that gives us room for guns and stuff, so we're good. We clearly can't have guns out the sides because those thrusters will cook them off. Let's see, we could have the guns on the top, but again that gives you a little room to use them. Gun wise, we're going to go with Gatling. So this is going to be a big asteroid. But it'll do the job. in the world there. Is that actually connected? I'm not sure if that actually connected there. Oh, it does. Okay. That's nice. That's better. Right. This is turning into a bit of a monster. Camera, where do we put a camera on this thing? This is going to be looking at ground-based targets. I feel the camera should be there. Okay. That means if I put the camera there, let's have a look at how that looks. Right, camera. Why can't I view that? I'm not in a control seat or anything. Okay, we'll get around to that in a second. I'm just going to have to put the other bits on here. So we need to have a remote control block and an antenna. The remote control block I'm going to place on the back because it's as close to the connector as possible. That got interesting. And we need the antenna as well. I think I can actually kill that connection there now. Yeah. These things are no longer required. And that block underneath here is going to have to go. Right. Yeah, we're good here. Antenna time. Where's a good safe place to place an antenna? Right there. Right. Now we can test out this camera. Gotta be very careful not to move this thing because it hasn't got... I can't move it around because it hasn't got a gyro on it yet. So, wrong button. Control G, camera, view. That's not bad actually. I feel like camera position's actually okay. Yeah. It can go sideways though. Right. Okay, so we need to start thinking about gyroscopes on here. Now, that thruster's working pretty damn hard. It might need some help. What's our mass? 17. We're getting really close to the limits here. We haven't even got any armor on this thing yet. So I'm going to have to give this more downward thrust. It's starting to look like a chunky boy here, so we might as well lean into that as much as we can. Let's see where else is safe to put this thrust. I think we can lose those from here. We've created more room for them. And put much more down thrust on here. Got our token up. Now it's interesting to note how it does that. When you start adding more thrusters, it drops momentarily. That's 6 more down thrusters there. Right. So we've got forward, left, right. We need our reverse thrust back still. We'll get there. Running out of space to go for it to fall down now. Yeah, that's the limit there. Get some altitude again. That's plenty of down thrust. We need our braking thrust now. So I think now that we know where everything is on here, we can start thinking about placing our braking thrust in along here. We put it there. Oh, actually, they're putting it there, as well as here. I have a feeling this is not going to fit in our drone bay. It might. Right. Are we looking on mass so far? We haven't even got gyros on yet. 24. Okay, that was enough. That was about the limit for a single thruster there, and that's about equivalent of 5 of these. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we've got the equivalent of 3 of these on now. Nearly. So that should hold itself up quite nicely. Now it's definitely not going to hold itself sideways. Like really, really not going to do that. I think we need to put some more side thrust on actually. Just to be on the safe side. So we're going to use this room here. Put a couple more of those on. Now we've got 1, 2, 3 in each direction. It's just a bit of safety margin here. Right, gyroscopes. So for gyroscopes, I'm actually going to put some armor in here. It's in between the two main. Oh, why is that a mismatch? 1, 2, 3. That one's there. That one overlaps. This one is in the wrong place. Right. Right. Now, I'm not the best when it comes to armor design, frankly. And honestly, I kind of don't give a crap. As long as the damn thing flies, does its job. How back are we going with that? Oh, all the way back to the end of that thruster pack. Right, that's cool. No, I'm not going to do that because I can't mirror it. We don't want to overdo the thrust anyway. So yeah, overdo the armor, frankly. Really bad idea to overdo armor on these things, because at the end of the day then it becomes more about adding thrust to compensate for armor, and then you're adding armor to protect the thrust, and you end up in this position where it's kind of no longer functional anymore. So we add armor where it's likely to be needed. So for example, on the front of here it will almost certainly be needed. Figure out what. No. needs to be like that. And it really does. See, that's necessary because we're protecting blocks there. And what we're protecting them from? Attack from the ground. Because frankly, if this comes up against some sort of air thing, I would expect it would be more likely to want to run away. Sort of work on protecting the hull. Okay, that piece doesn't quite work. So we will get rid of that. Work on it. Doesn't work, does it? Yeah, we have to come up with something at some point for that. I don't really want them to overdo it, but I still want it to look alright. See what other kind of blocks we got. I mean, this stuff's going to get chewed up anyway if we get into combat, to be frankly honest. So, I don't think it needs much of this shit. It looks like a flying tank as it is. That's pretty damn cool. Right. Let's get a gyro on here. Is one enough? I think we need redundancy, so let's have 2. Yeah. So I think we're going to place the... Yeah. Keep them at the back. Okay. I mean, mostly a scouting drone anyway, so I think what I'm going to do is place just a bit more of this light armor in, but have to be willing to remove it all. Right. Okay. So that's a basic remote control drone there. No controllers or anything on here. Now, I think what I want to do is put a couple of controls on here. So, right. Where's the front? That's the left side. That's the rear side. That's the right way around. That's the move controller. Basic task. I think we put defense on here first. So not have a right way around, wrong way around thing. Okay, maybe not. That looks like the right way around for that. Why have I just put that on top of? Okay, that's fine. That's a definite empty space. Okay, so we have movement and defense options here, and I can then tell this thing if it comes anywhere near anything particularly dangerous, come home. If it loses signal. While I'm in control of it, not a problem. Right. Let's see how we are for mass, firstly. Oh, we're at 28,000. That's not too bad. Let's start adding a bit of ammunition into this thing. Actually, it'll fire without, so it should be okay. I think we should name it Proto Drone. Well, just for now. And we will temporarily blueprint this thing. Right. Now then. We definitely need to increase the antenna's range. I definitely need to give myself the means of controlling that. So, seat. I'm doing this so that we can basically have the means to control this from a distance. So I can fly this testing around. 7. Oops. Why did I do that? That's weird. Antenna. Broadcast radius. There's literally no point having an antenna on your craft with huge range if you can't match its own range. So, right. Block weapons. So we're going to place weapons on here. Control purposes. I'm going to see how you fly. Ooh, there's a bit of kickback on that. Okay. This isn't too bad. Right, so what sort of altitude can we get to before we start losing ourselves? Now in our test, we've started to lose thrust by 60, so... Still stable. Right, 180 is about the limit there. So 180 above the ground here. If you lean forward, it can't hold itself. If we're going to dive like that. Okay, limit on the sides. Yeah, just under 45 degrees. Fine. This drone is flyable. Top speed. Pretty quick. Yeah. It does struggle with a bit of upwards thrust, so we have to be very, very careful with it. Right then, so we have a drone prototype. So skipping ahead a bit, we've added a light onto this thing and we've just given it a bit of a paint job. It's not got a name yet. That's something I'd like you guys to come up with. So if you could comment what you think this should be called, I'll pick my favourite name and we'll go with that for the series. Now, while I was reviewing the flight footage for this, we have a problem with power right now. So just to give you a clear idea what that looks like, I just go into camera so we can view this properly. So if you look at the bottom right hand side, there's the power meter there. This is what it's using currently. Now hovering at a level hover is using 50% of its power. If I try to thrust up, we're maxing out power. If I try to go forward, we're maxing out our power, which means if we try to go forward and up, so if we're trying to like go over something, it's not getting the full power out of the thrusters, which means that, which is the reason why we crashed before over there. So if we try to go sideways, we're using 87% of the power. So this one battery, you know how I said earlier that a small battery isn't going to cut it? Well, it really isn't, because this one large battery is just really not cutting it itself. So we're going to have to add some more power to this or reduce the thrust. I don't think reduce the thrust at this kind of weight is going to be practical, because you'll lose maneuverability. So we're going to have to add batteries to this or a reactor of some sort. Now, we're struggling for uranium right now in game, so that's out of the question. We're not using uranium reactors in here. So we're going to have to see if we can find a way to get more batteries onto this without pushing the weight over its limit. Now, there's a few ways we can do this. We could remove the cargo container from here and go with this small port on the back with a cluster of small containers here, and then leave room for a second battery here or here, which means rerouting some of this a bit further along, taking that out and moving it. Or we could put some small batteries on here to supplement the power. The risk of that though is that the small battery is going to run out, and then as soon as they run out, they're going to start drawing power to recharge from the main batteries, and this is pretty much what caused Speed to crash on his first ever ship in, I think, episode 4. So we have an issue. Now, we've got one battery here, so batteries are 2 blocks wide. I think we could add one here. I think if we... Now, here's the thing. If I pull that, is this thing going to fall apart? I would like to think not. Let's just hope for the best and find out. Okay, nothing fell off. I'm not sure what these thrusters are connected to. Oh, oh yeah, good job we got the armor on here. So, get our second battery in here. And hope this doesn't push the weight over the limit. Okay, that was quite neat. Now we have our remote control block over here, which that's not going to work like that. I think we split this off into 2 channels and go in there so we can keep that control block right where it is. I don't like the idea of removing that, so let's go and find our conveyors. Do we have a T-junction for this? Yes, we do. Okay. It's kind of good to have a redundancy there. Okay, and in here, now this is the point where I think we need to lose that. A bit at risk of us losing all of this stuff, so I'm going to have to place some temporary blocks in here. So I'm going to colour those red so we don't get all mixed up. I'll put them 2 in there, and I'll just connect that there, just for now. Now what I can try and do is remove that, and in this space here, place some smaller cargo containers. More cargo. So, we'll look at how this connects. Only a front and back connection, which can be a bit problematic. So what we're going to have to do is leave the top row for some conveyor junctions and place 1, 2, 3. We're going to have a lot of trouble here. We have to design a conveyor system here that allows us to connect a few of these up. Because these are a pain in the neck. So we've got small, we've got large, that's not going to fit. The medium is the one we already had. But I think what we could do is still have the medium on there. Gonna have to move that for sure. It's getting wider by the minute. Okay. Okay. We could run those around to connect to there, but not particularly keen on that. Ooh, thank God that thing didn't shut down. Right. Take that off there. Fill those. I love how these designs just sort of like evolve as you go through them. Kind of crazy, but come up with one idea and then you spontaneously end up doing something completely different. Right. So we've added a bit of extra width to this thing. It's going to need a little bit more armor work, but it isn't so bad. I'm not too keen on adding extra there. I think one extra on that side should be more than enough. Okay. Right, so let's try this for a flight test now. Kind of wanted to go with the smaller connector on the back and smaller those, but the way those cargo containers connect out and the capacity of them, to be honest, when it comes to ammo and such, it's a bit on the weak side. It'd be also nice to be able to use this to sort of ferry stuff around a little bit. So, oh, antenna range. Now I've noticed antenna range also takes up some power, so something that has to be considered. I believe we're going to have to set up, control bar, because the antenna's been changed and the remote control block's been changed. It's the remote control block that holds all of this stuff. Okay, I think we put, now, got the defensive block. I think we should have AI behavior on off on there, and same for the move block. air behavior on off, so we can just turn it over to the AI if we really need to. You. Okay, so 85% for up, 59% for forward. If I do both, we are maxing out still, but we should be, well, far less likely to max out. Main thing is not to press forward and up at the same time. Use forward to get momentum, and press up when you want to dodge over something. It should be good. Not like we're racing. I mean, you can go forward and up at the same time, it's just gonna weaken the use of those thrusters. So we are still maxing out a little bit. But we've got plenty of maneuverability here. Quite a lot better. Great. So this is our drone. We have a certain amount of controllability here. It's much better than before. And I'm going to blueprint it before I forget. TBD1's the new blueprint. So yeah, pop a comment in. Let me know what you think this should be called. A bit like a flying tank, but I want some original names. I will pick the best one. The one that I like the best anyway. And we'll get this into the series. Do some trying in real time. So we'll catch you in the series.